Okay.
All
All right.
right. Live now on YouTube. And so we'll be live in a second on Instagram as soon as it picks up. Let me right.
Boy, we got a
And
doozy.
yes, and we are now live, you guys. If you are here, you're listening, please make sure that you go to the Instagram page at Get Caught Up Podcast. Make sure you go to YouTube, the Get Caught Up Podcast, so that you can actually see and stream and see the actual interview. So we are now live on both, and I will go ahead and get started. 1 second. We apologize, y'all. Life got the license, so we had to push it back a little bit, but we here now. We are here now. So you guys, as you know, I am Untamed, and I am the host of Get Caught Up Podcast, and I am also joined with my lovely co-host, Miss Crystal, Miss Books and Soul. How are you this evening?
Um, I had one of those days again today. So,
You know what? You gotta get your life together still.
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I
All
do.
right. Well, girl, as you know, we are doing our book of the month discussion, and I want to, before we get started, just give a major shout out to all of our sponsors, all of our supporters. Kiana Danae, XO, JC, KB's Bookshelf, Women of Vision, Tyler's Landscaping, Jones Pressure Washer and Lawn Care, and me and my son's lawn care. And we are presented by Untamed Publishing. Allow us to help you unlock your unlimited writing potential. And we are also sponsored by Black Odyssey Media. So just want to give some love, show some love to all of our sponsors. And we now got to show love to our special guest of the evening for our book of the month, which is with author Erick Gray. So I'm gonna let you do the honors, Crystal. You're gonna read his bio, and we're gonna welcome him right on in.
Yes. Now, the saying, I always take my glasses off to see and put them on to hear. But right now, I need them on to see. I don't need to hear nothing right now. Okay. So, Eric S. Gray, since his debut in 2003, has been consistent with over 22 books published and has participated in many anthologies and novellas. His diversity in storytelling makes him one of the most prolific writers of the genre. Check out his movie, No Better Love, on Tubi. I usually say Eric S. Gray, welcome to the UP hot seat, but I'm going to go ahead and say Eric S. Gray, welcome to the UP live hot seat.
I know that's
Um,
right.
And I hope it's hot because you in that book?
hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for
Yes,
y'all. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about.
yes. And everyone who is joining us, in order to view it, you must go to our Instagram page and Get Caught Up Podcast. Let me get you on the right page first of all. And Get Caught Up Podcast and on Instagram and also on YouTube. At the Get Caught Up Podcast on YouTube. So that is how you will view the live for Eric. Um, that is where you will go. So please share, 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 and spread the word. Spread the word. But yes, so I am going to read the synopsis for Gun. Because we got to get into this. This is
Yes.
I will say this. Let me start off saying this. I know Eric. I've had the pleasure of working with him and talking with him, outside of the project. And it is amazing how intricate your mind works. So this book is nothing new out of the ordinary for me. It's new for some of your readers. It's a different style from you, but I appreciate it, and I just love the versatility in your pen. So without further ado, Let me read the synopsis for Gun. Reminiscent of Marvel's Luke Cage, Eric S. Gray's debut novel, Into the Realm of the Urban Supernatural, tells a gripping story of power, greed, and soul sacrificial vengeance. Fans of S.A. Crosby's Razorblade Tears will be engrossed. Omar will soon take advantage of his right to bear arms, even though it might cost him his soul. Residing in one of the poorest and most dangerous neighborhoods in New York, Brownsville, Omar Richards has been the constant target of abuse and bullying. With his mother dying of cancer, his entire world seemingly falls apart, forcing Omar to question his sanity and religion. As if those terrors weren't enough, Omar's most feared adversary, Bryce, is determined to make his life a living hell. When Omar makes a grim discovery left behind by murdered kingpin Sean Black, his life is forever changed, especially once he realizes that his new secret weapon has supernatural abilities. Why settle for money, power, and respect when you can have justice? Woo! So,
Hmm. Mm.
y'all, y'all, what? Listen, this synopsis is really, it's actually low key. It is low
It
key
really
for
is.
me.
It's
It's
a
low
little
key for
bit,
me.
but it is
Yeah,
low
because
key.
it ain't saying it's saying something, but it ain't saying everything.
Right,
Right. It's
right.
saying it's
Yeah,
giving you a taste,
yeah.
a
Yes,
taste
yes.
about this book. So, but before we get into it, I do want to, get to know you a little bit more as an author. Let those who have not been introduced to you get to know a little bit more about you. We read the bio, of course, but just to get to know some more about you as an author. So, what was the reason you got into writing, and at what age did you start?
So I started writing at the age of like 12, 13 years old. My first love was sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I grew up watching Star Trek, Star Wars. I'm a comic book fanatic. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, Spawn. So I'm big on like comic books, big on sci-fi, and I started to try to like sci-fi. But then that changed after high school. Because I started watching like Boys in the Hood, and then Menace to Society and New Jack City, and I was like, yo, and a lot of stories that's being told was like from the West Coast, and I remember we only had like Goose and New Jack City, so I said we got stories like that too. So I was like, you know what? I said I'm gonna try my hand at urban fiction, and so I sat down. I started really in college when I started sitting down writing urban fiction, um, erotica, and it started out just as for a hobby. So computer lab. After class, I go to the computer lab. I would just sit there and type, and I type. People don't know that I do type, and it just started pulling out, and it was just like page after page, and it was just like therapeutic, man. It was just like telling my life. Better it was telling my life, better it was fiction, better it was just trying to come up with something crazy, crazy. And then when I first got my first, how should I say, like review, I was in class and my homegirl, cause I had printed it out. And I'm like nonchalant by my writing. I'm like, I'm doing this for fun. I never thought that I would be this writer today. Like, oh wow. Cause my mom back then, I was like 19, 20 years old. I'm like, this right, whatever. And I did poetry and I did rap and I love poetry and stuff like that. So, but she said, "Can I read it?" I'm like, "Why you want to read this for?" I'm like, this is for me. This ain't nobody else to read. She's like, 'cause she was interested in it. I was like, she's like, let me see what you wrote. So I'm like, here you go. And I gave it to her to read. I didn't give it a second thought. Came back. She came to me like a week later. She was like, oh my God, that's really good. And I'm like, huh? You like that shit? And she, yeah, and I'm like, and I'm like, and mind you, this shit is full of typos and all kinds of stuff. But she didn't care. She just liked the story I was telling, and she
Mhm.
like it. So even when she told me that she liked the story, it was to me it was still this was back in 1997, 98, 99, around that time, like late 90s. And I was like, and once again, I just shrugged it off. It wasn't until 2002 because I'm cool with Carl Weber because he from Jamaica Queens too. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
Carl had a bookstore in Jamaica Queens because I'm a fanatic reader. I love to pick up a book. I could read. I used to read 2 or 3 books a week in 2 weeks. And he had a bookstore, and we had connected. We had a vibe going. I met Carl in 1998, and then in 2002, I found out that he had published a book. I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. And then it was my oldest daughter, mom's. She was like, I started writing booty call, and back then booty call was called the yeah. I'm gonna be blunt. It was called All About the Sex,
Mm-hmm.
and I started writing that book because I was high and I was horny. So
Well, that's a good ass reason to start writing a book. I tell you
I was just high and horny. I don't lie, and I was just like, and I just started writing some crazy first chapters, and I want to go into details, but details. The beginning of that book is about a guy going out on a girl he met in the club, and he's whack, and he can't eat it right, and she's like, "You can't even eat. Can I curse on here?"
You sure can. Go ahead, have it.
She's like, "Nigga, you can't even eat pussy right. You gonna fuck me? Oh God, you whack." so so I remember, and I'm smoking, I'm writing. And I remember my daughter's mom, she read that first scene, she cracked up laughing. I was like, wow, it's really that funny to you? She said, yeah, it's funny. I was like, it's funny. So I started writing more and more. And it was like a what you call it, one of those urban rom-com type of story.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those. And then like once again, like back when I the first time, I was like nonchalant, like I was like, man, whatever. And she was like, yo, why don't you go see Carl Rapper and see about publishing it? I'm like, you ain't trying to publish my shit, man. Come on, man. Get out of here with that. But she was like, yeah, go see him in public. All right. So I went to go see Carl. And I'm like, because by this time, they had started an independent publishing company called Black Print. And they were
Mm-hmm.
looking for new authors. And I was like, all right. And he just had published, I think it was Family, I forgot it was Family something. But he had published his own book to I think it was a Kensington. And so
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so I'm talking to Carl, and on your call, I got this book I got, and I don't know, man. If you want to check it out, and this is me. I don't know. You can check it out, and I think I might get it published. Okay, he's telling me about publishing everything. I'm like, yeah. So I check it out. Once again, I got this crash, nonchalant, this whatever, man. And that was my attitude. And I ain't gonna lie, that was my attitude in the beginning of this book game. That was me, like whatever, man. And then 2 weeks later, he said, "Yo, we want to sign you. We want to publish it." I'm like, "What? We want to publish it?" Because he
Oh
said,
my
"Yeah."
gosh.
He said, I had 3 ladies. He said, I had 3 ladies read your book, and they couldn't stop laughing. I was like, "Wow!" And then, so I'm like,
Wow.
"Oh, they laughing because they like it, or they nah." I'm like, "Nah." He said, "Nah, they really enjoyed the story." And I, "What?" All right, so and that was my introduction to the urban literature and having opening that door and stepping into the room and it was all right. And then I started to see like, wow, this could go somewhere. And
Mm.
and I remember when the beginning, I was thinking like my book got published. I had like I swear I was gonna be a millionaire. I swear I was gonna be like
Oh,
the best.
don't everybody.
What? I thought I
Don't
was gonna
everybody.
be driving around Ferraris and buying houses and living like a
You better
rock
say.
star. Man, I was getting our bookmarks. Man, I had a vision in my head like, yeah, by next year I'm gonna be living a good life, boy. Shit, man. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be it. Cause like from where I'm from Jamaica Queens, people like it's like you got the rappers, you got the ball players, you got the hustlers. So not too many people writing books. And
Mhm.
when people found out that I wrote a book, they were like, "Hey, you got a book out?" Oh yeah, you got one. And then they were surprised. And I can fuck. My hood was very supportive. They were like, "Yo, we got you, man." And they was buying my book and showing support. And my book was in the mall, it was in Walden Book, and it was a game changer. And I was like, wow. I had people calling me like, yo, I seen your book in Walden Books in the mall, man. Yo. And
Listen, you better say that. Now, look, we gotta put some respect on your name because homeboy, he done shouted out Walden Books, baby. Walden Books, you know how long ago
That's
that
how far we
was.
go back.
Yes,
Walden
like
books.
Walden Books was back in the
Facts.
damn
Walden books.
day.
Yeah, Walden book. Barnes and
Boy.
Noble. You had all the mom and pop stores that was pushing books. Like
Hmm.
that's what pushed urban fiction was the mom and pop stores. Like we had
Yes.
over. I forgot the
Walden
name
Books
so
and
long ago. I
Borders
forgot
was
the name.
big. Walden Books and
Borders.
Borders was
Borders.
big
Yeah.
for Black authors. It really
Yes.
was.
Yeah. You know what's crazy because I remember one time. You know that have you seen that movie with Jeffrey Wright? He's a writer and
I still gotta see that movie. I want to
All
see
right,
it so
so
bad.
when I mean me and Quan was talking about that movie, we laughed so hard because we see the similarities to our lives. There's a scene in the beginning where he goes to the bookstore, he looking for his book, but he don't tell who he is. He goes, I'm looking for an author so and so. So he goes, okay, all right, come this way. So he sees the book on the bottom. He like, what? He starts taking his book like I'm he's like it's like under the African American section. He like, but my book is not considered African American. I'm a writer. He started taking his book and trying to reposition it. I did that shit. I, I did that. Me, my homeboy,
Listen,
rest in peace, G. We went into Walden Books. Booty Call was on the bottom of the shelf. I was like, why they got
hmm
my book on the bottom of the shelf? So we went on some goon shit, and we thought we rearranging shit. We put my shit up there, and we doing
listen,
this.
you better do that. You
No
And
better do
promotion.
it.
yo, so the one of the workers, she like, what are y'all doing? I like, this is me right here. This is me right here. Why my book on the bottom of the bookshelf?
Listen, you
She
better.
was like, no, no, no. It's these are in different order, in alphabetical order, and whatever. But I was like, my last name is great, so I still on the bottom of the bookshelf.
I know that's right. Listen, hey,
But
my author name Untamed, and I still be like, well, it may be at the bottom of the letters, but it's gonna be one of the first books you damn
well, yeah,
see.
Hmm.
well, well, me and that lady, working, we came real cool after that because she was like, I understand this is you, and she set up some book signings, and I was going like once a month to do a book signing, and it worked out good.
I know
Well,
that's
yeah,
right.
I got
That's
I got so
fun.
many adventures in this book game, man. We did so many stories that I can tell what I've been through, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, and the heartbreak and the fun times. It's like it really was a journey. It still is a journey. It still is a journey.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Never
And
ending journey as
it
long as
never
you.
ended.
That's
One
one
minute
thing
you're
about
here,
it.
and then you're like, yeah. And you're like, I know every author felt this way. Fuck this game, man. I'm tired, man.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? Like you get
yes.
so frustrated, and it's and either because it's not going the way you want it to go, the money ain't right, people ain't right, business is just like man. And, and I tell you, the most frustrating thing to be an author is to work on a book for like it could be 2, 3 months, 4 months, whatever how long, and you think it's gonna be the best one, and that shit don't do what you think it's gonna do. The number you like, God, what the hell?
Yeah.
What I'm doing? You put your foot in like fucking soul food, and this shit is like, that's crushing.
Yes,
I
it
Hmm.
mean, but
is.
it is, man, because I had that happen. You like, yo, and I'm like, wow, but the point of being a writer and the point of loving what you do is no matter what you're going through, it's the passion you have for it. And then no matter
Yes.
how mad you get, you wake up the next morning and you're like, I'm still gonna do this, man. I still got
Right.
stories to tell. I still want to be,
I'm telling you,
you know, so
it is crazy because I don't know if this happens to you, but it happens to me. Like I know I've said, I don't say it anymore. I think on the third time, it might be the third or fourth time that I was like, "F this shit, I'm done. I ain't gonna do this no more." Every single time that happens to me, something like I will get a major sale or something that happens, like I get booked for something, like immediately after I said it, by the end of that night, I'm like, oh dang, I was just about to throw in the
Yeah,
so, and that happened like 3 or 4 times. So after that, I said, you know what, I'm gonna stop saying it because every time I say that, it's always something that pulls me back in, and I was like, this what I meant to do. So I'm just gonna see it through, you know,
You
and,
got to
and
see
do
it
it
through.
and do what I love. So I'm like, man, but yeah, that happens to me a lot.
yeah. But that's the
So
best way to live.
yeah,
Best way to
it
live is
is.
do what you love. Do what you love and keep doing it.
And keep
Hmm.
doing it. So what are your writing sessions like?
But nowadays, my writing session is I'm up like 6 in the morning because I get my daughter ready for school. And I take her to school, drop her to the school bus stop, and then come back home. And then my daughter, oldest daughter, she got to go to work. I go pick her up and take her to work, and then I'm back home like about like 9 o'clock, and I make a cup of coffee, and I'm up on my laptop until maybe 12, 1 o'clock that afternoon. Especially if that day is not a busy day, not much going on, so I'm up till like 1 o'clock. And sometimes you be so busy you forget to eat. That's me. I just drink coffee and just write, and I just sit there and then I might take a break that afternoon, handle some business, do some whatever, and then it's different because now summertime my daughter's in camp and she don't get out of camp till 5, 6 o'clock that afternoon, so I got time. But when school's in, the bus come at 2:30, so I got to 7 in the morning to 2:30 to get whatever I got to get done. Because after
Yeah.
that 2:30, Daddy, I'm hungry. Daddy, I want this. Daddy.
Hmm.
And it's like
Yes. And
So
it, and if you like me, your kids put their stuff in everything.
yes, word. So I know from that time to maybe like 7, 8 o'clock, I'm in dad mode or this mode or different mode, and then if I ain't too tired, I'll come back to my laptop, open it up, and just probably get like an hour, maybe 2 hours in before bed, and wake up the next morning to do it all over again. Hey, listen,
Hmm.
I live a real simple life. People think I live a rock star. I say I don't live a damn rock star life, man. I, my life is damn near boring. Shoot.
Ah,
Born is fun
listen,
though. People don't
Lord,
realize
hey,
born is definitely
I
fun.
say this. I say, yo, you better be glad I'm bored because back in the days, shit, man, I could tell you some stories from the Queen, and I want to be bored because if I get two things, if I get that I don't give a fuck attitude, it's a problem.
hmm
Or if I get antsy, it's a problem. So I
it's a
say,
problem. So
let
let
me
you be
be bored.
chill. Let
Let
you
me
be
be
Yeah.
chill. Let
chill.
me be bored. So bored is safe. Bored is cool. Bored is like, all right.
Bored
I
ain't
I
getting
feel
me in
All,
you.
all,
trouble.
all that excitement goes into my books. I just pour it all in there, like
Exactly. That's the best
all
place
that
to put it.
all that energy goes in there. You
Yeah.
like some of the best characters when you're upset. Like,
That's the best place to put it. I want to give a shout out to some of these people on here on Instagram that's joining us. A Lewis, Mimi B3 Reads, Red Fan TV, Terrace Marie, Elaney Romance, Lady T Bug, Miss McKeegan, Queen Hefe 86, Brewster, Arthur Blossom. Thank y'all for hopping in and joining us over here on your
Yes.
IG. So yes, and we're also on YouTube, y'all. But yeah, we got a couple. Wait, we got a couple more questions for you. We
hey,
do. Okay.
I'm an I, hey,
I'm gonna
little,
let you tackle some.
I'm an open book, so whatever they gotta ask, I'm right here.
All right. So I wanted to know, is there like another genre that you would want to write in?
Another job with well, I did. I wrote comedy, but that's a script.
Right.
Supernatural. I want to try my hand at like the whole sci-fi, like Star Wars, Game of Thrones. I want to. One day I'm gonna try that out, man, because I'm a big Game of Thrones. I'm a big Star Wars.
We about
Even
to
though this
do
new
a
Star Wars
watch
show
party.
ain't shit. I like Star Trek, so I'm big on shows like that. I love them.
Oh
I like
yeah.
shows that sci-fi shows that make you think, shows that are so
Hmm.
out of the box. Like wow, that's like I just finished watching the one that what's it called the three body rule or the three what's it called on Netflix. What's it called? Three Body Rule, something like that. But it was a really good show about by aliens, but it came with a different
Okay.
approach by aliens.
Okay.
Um, and then I like, and I like procedural shows like NYPD.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
Law and Order. I like Criminal Minds. I like
SVU.
my
All your
SVU.
SUV.
favorites.
SUV. I like, but my favorite ones is Chicago PD. I love Chicago PD.
Yes, I
That's
love
my
Chicago
shit.
PD, Chicago Fire. Like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
Chicago
I love
Fire.
them.
I like the whole
Yes,
fit. It's just like that. Those shows are so. I just it's like every
yes,
Wednesday night I gotta watch my shows, man. That they hang and yeah,
yes.
I'm telling you.
I was
But yeah,
just watching FBI International. That's why I was a little late.
okay, yeah.
Yesterday. I
I didn't
love
get
the
that. I didn't get.
FBI series too.
Yeah, so I'm big on like them shows, and then I got my The Wire. I got the
Mhm.
Snowfalls. I got the Ozark,
Mhm.
the Breaking Bad.
Oh
Like I
yes.
like those shows because like I like psychology, like the psyche of the mind.
Mhm.
I love shit like that
Yes.
because I like to know why people so fucked up. Why they do what they do.
Yep.
Even in my
Mhm.
characters, my character, I'm like I'm some fucked up characters, so it's like.
Bryce, Anton. Yeah, you
Yes,
did.
you got some messed up
You
characters
Yeah,
in
did.
this
so
thing here.
Hmm.
I like that whole psych thing going on. What the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath. I started
Hmm.
studying that on. So it's cool.
Yeah, like I'm telling stuff like I miss stuff like Scandal and Suits because those shows were my shit. I love those
You
type
know
of
what? I
shows.
just started binge watching Suits on Netflix. I'm on season two, no season three. I'm on
It's
season
good
three.
that you're doing that because actually they're
Yes.
going to bring back one more season. So it's going to be a season 9 of Suits on Netflix.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I just thought, and that was a great concept of
I
him not being a
love it.
lawyer,
Yes.
but he's so smart, but and he's not really, he doesn't have his law degree. I'm like, wow, that's
Right.
crazy. And
Yes.
Yes, it's
I
wild.
like the protagonist, man. I like all it's a good story.
It really
I
is.
Yes,
And
and
they're
I
doing a
love.
spin-off of it as well.
And
they
I
have a
love the
spinoff.
fact, yeah, they got a
Yeah.
spinoff that's coming, and
There's a
I
spin-off
Oh
just I
coming.
love that show. I love the way his mind ticks
yeah,
because those cases were so unorthodox. Like they came up with these crazy, unique
yeah,
storylines and cases,
Hmm.
but
yeah.
it fit him because that's how his they had him and his mind works.
Work.
Like
Yeah.
he never ever went to law school. He just took the doggone he took the
Right.
bar for other
Read the
people.
books
He,
and
he
study,
was
and that was
scheming.
it.
He was taking a test for other people and making them
Yes.
pass it.
And
I'm like,
passing.
yeah.
Yes,
But
like
they have some very colorful characters, man.
Yes.
they
So
do, they
Lewis
do.
Lit.
But
I love me some Lewis Lit.
Lewis Lit, yeah.
yeah,
You know
Lewis.
what? Now I didn't like him the first few seasons, but
Yeah,
once
I
he
didn't either.
turned the corner and he was like, "You about to get lit up," like I'm trying to tell you,
I
I
don't
was
don't
like,
don't spoil it for me because I'm only on season three. So don't. So
"Dude,
y'all need to
Um, it just
listen,
gets
Lewis is
better
my
and better and
dude. It
for
better.
gets better
real.
every season.
Yes.
It like every season gets better, and that's hard to say for TV shows because sometimes they kind of lose their way. But
Yeah, I feel
no,
so.
It
Suits
got better
definitely
every
got
season.
better.
I was mad when
Uh,
they canceled it. Now I'm gonna tell you a show that just came out. It came out last year, and I'm glad they renewed it and it's coming back. It's called. Actually, I have more than one. It's called Found on NBC, where
oh,
she was
Mhm.
kidnapped as a child, like a teenager, and she was
Mhm.
with him literally a year, and and then she escaped. He was her high
Mhm.
school teacher, and then now she's an adult, has her own business, and
Mhm.
she's finding people that people will not look for.
I
And
think
Mhm.
I saw the trailer to that.
in her basement is the one who took her.
Oh,
Yeah, like
It's
she
that show is
she
so
kidnapped
good.
her kidnapper.
nah,
Kidnapper and
that's
kidnapper.
a cool. Wow.
Yes,
Yes.
it's really
Oh my
good.
goodness. So I
Okay,
want to move
I
into
was gonna
this
say I
book.
got one more.
Oh, you got one more? Okay.
One more question. This is the last one. Okay, so this question is, what is one good thing and one bad thing in writing? And this is just from your perspective, your opinion. One good thing and one bad thing. You kind of told us, but I just want to see if you can
Well,
tell us something a
well,
little different.
one good thing about writing is you could create anywhere you want to. You
Right.
can be whatever you want, go wherever you want, do whatever you want. It's your world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you could create it. So there's no limitations. You know, and the one bad thing I say about writing, it could be time consuming.
Right.
You know, if you're a writer, you should, and if you're in a relationship, they might be.
Listen, Eric on his speaking facts today. This is why I enjoy talking to him. We had a realist ass conversation.
Hey,
Yeah.
I keep it honest, man. I'm real good. Because
Yeah.
when I was with my ex, she like, you always on that laptop. But you understand, this is my livelihood. This pay the bills. This is what
Right.
I do. You know, and then as a writer, your mind is always spinning, always working. It don't stop. You could be
Mm-hmm.
talking, you can speak. Oh, I got an idea. You know, and then you zone out for a minute, like you in that abyss, like, oh shit. And you're like, where did you go?
Listen,
Like
Right.
that's what yeah. So you know,
oh,
your mind is always constantly going. Like, man, if you watching TV, play with your kids, or you know, or just out and about, you know, you always got some kind of story in your head that's ready to come out of you. You know? So yeah, well, so
for
if you're
real.
I
so I
just
said
like
anybody,
staring at people a lot. Now, I mean, I already looked at people like they were crazy, but now I just be like
but
staring.
that's good though, because like I said, to be a writer,
Mhm.
like when I'm out and about, I don't be on my phone. I like to watch
Right.
people because you know
Mhm.
I think it was August Wilson. When
Mm-hmm.
he wrote, I remember I was reading an interview about him. He said he liked to go out and he liked dialect. He liked to
Right.
hear people talk. He liked to hear different
Mhm.
accents, and he would pick up on certain things, little things that people do. You realize, like, oh shoot, kind of the different quirks and stuff,
Right.
and atmosphere. You pick that up, you can put it in your story. I said, wow. And I've been doing that. You go out about, you go to like in a restaurant or you in a park, and you start observing people. You'll see different things. Like, wow, hear them talk, how they interact with certain people, with their kids, or and you're like, wow. So I like to be about, and I just like to watch people. And then I
Mm-hmm.
like to set up scenarios like I'll see a couple sitting at the table. I'm like, I wonder if they're happy or sad, or she gonna kick his ass tonight. I think it's such a, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll be looking like, nah, he ain't getting no ass tonight. He fucking
Oh my
word.
God.
Yo, I'm telling you, it is so fun to watch people, man, especially in
Mm-hmm.
different
Mhm.
environments, because you never know what you can. I'm like, because the world we in today, especially with the young generation, they completely doing this.
Yup.
And
Exactly.
Not paying attention.
I tell my girl, she had a habit of when she get off the bus, she's on the phone. I say, get off that phone. First thing you get off that
Mm-hmm.
bus, you pay attention to your surroundings.
Thank
You don't
Yup.
come
you.
off that bus like this. I hate that. I said, get off
Mm-hmm.
that phone.
Exactly,
Because,
because you don't know what's popping off around you when
yeah,
you
And
hop
not
out that
even
bus.
that. Yeah, I had a at my job a girl. She's young, so she just started medical school, and she's going to Atlanta. And I'm like, well, I just moved from Atlanta, and she's like, I said, because that's like you said, she's young, and she's kind of like, I'm not saying she's in la la land, but sometimes I feel like she is. So I said, I'm gonna just tell you this: pay attention to your surroundings. I
yep.
said, don't do the same thing more than once. And that's things I experienced, living up here in the DMV. If I did things the same way and somebody be like, oh, I know you get home at this time. What? Like, don't do that.
Mhm.
Don't do
Mhm.
that. I don't like that. Don't do that.
Don't do
So,
that.
you
Yeah.
definitely the paying attention to your surroundings. And then I work somewhere where I deal with people from everywhere, all over the world. I mean, everywhere. We get people come in. Some people come, I can't understand what they're saying. They can't understand what I'm saying. Like their accents thick. I mean, from everywhere. And you right, just sitting there watching them and their demeanor and how they talk to people is like pretty interesting. And my friends at work, like, you staring at them people. I'd be like, I don't care. I'm just trying to figure them out.
It's a look. It's a habit. It's a
It's a
habit, and
bad,
then it
it's a
gets
bad
worse when
habit.
you're creative. So
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
gets worse. But look, we got to get into this book. We got to get
Yeah.
into gun. So
Mm.
I, I gotta ask. I have
Yeah.
heard this, but I need the people to know because, and you go into as much as you want to, but
Yes.
because you do got another book coming out, and I want you to have some time to talk about that too. Um, where did the idea for a gun come from?
It came from many out there. One out there that came from, like I said, I love watching like procedural TV cop shows and stuff like that. And one of the shows I used to love watching was um what's it called, CSI.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
I
And
love CSI
yeah,
Miami.
yeah, I
Since
was
when
more
did you
my
switch to
favorite
that?
was Las Vegas.
Oh, see, we
And
all got three different ones.
yeah, my favorite was Las Vegas. And so I'll be watching the shows. I'll be like, one day I was sitting there talking like one day, what if they was investigating something that was so unique, so uncanny, so different? There was no science behind it. There was no forensic. And I'm like, that'd be a crazy thing to write. I never seen, because back in the days, I never seen too many shows where it dealt with the supernatural and detective
Right.
work and stuff like that. And in
Hmm.
my mind, I started thinking about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They said, well, if it ain't, and then somebody once told me, if it ain't out there, then you create it. You
Right.
know? So, and I was all right. And then, so that was like a bit of the catalyst for that book was like watching these detective shows and just wanting to write a character that they couldn't really comprehend like what's going on. And then Gun and then me, like I said, I grew up in the church. My mom, the Sunday morning she had me in church, even though I hated going to church in the mornings, as a young boy. And I grew up, with his teaching me the Bible and everything. And then I grew up in the hood. I grew up in South Jamaica, Queens. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Bed-Stuy. I've lost friends to violence, to gun violence. Um, so one day, gun came about was this saying was like, what if there's a weapon out there that was just designed for evil? I mean, don't get me wrong. The gun alone is just straight up, dangerous. But what if there was a weapon out there that just really just took control of your soul and made you
Mm.
want to just,
Mixed
and
from a
so
man and a woman.
yeah, so Omar, so with Omar, well, with Omar's character, I'm like, I want to, because I like one thing about storytelling. You always want to see a character arc. You want to see the character from here or here, or go from here to here. You
Right.
Right.
know, and I always find that fascinating how people can change in the story. Like with Breaking Bad, somebody could go for a meek, mild, timid dude to this in another season. He just like you don't even recognize. Like if you ever watch Oz,
Uh-huh.
remember
Oh
what's
my
his name?
Hmm.
gosh, I love Oz.
You remember Preacher, the nerdy dude?
Yes.
How he
Uh-huh.
first
Hmm.
came into that prison, he was the glasses, nerdy, and then
Uh-huh.
when that season ended, he was like nobody to fuck with.
No.
I,
Exactly.
I was like, wow. And so I always been fascinated about seeing that kind of change in people, like because you got to think what kind of mindset, what do people got to go through, go from to something like that, good to bad or bad to good. So with Gun, Omar character was this character who was raised in the church, always mom always believed in, everything happens for a reason, believe in God, believe in Christ, we're gonna be good. And Omar like, and he got that spirit in him, yeah, but you gotta think, you go up in your projects, you 20 years old, you ain't never had a dime to your name, you struggling to pay bills since the day you can remember, and you in church
Right.
every Sunday, and they saying that you know, the time will come, God's gonna look out for you. But you out in Brooklyn, you in the hood, you see the flashy chains, and at first it doesn't affect Omar. He
Right.
doesn't care for all that. He has his mom, he loves his moms. He has his best friend Kizzy, and but what fucks with his head is Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce was that mother like, yo, why
You
Hmm.
know
me?
he got off
Why?
easy.
Huh?
I feel like you let him off easy on his
Yeah.
Uh,
demise.
well, I wanted, but see, the thing about story, I don't want to be predictable because I didn't want to be that story where you save him to the last. Nah, I said, nah, he gonna get it. He gonna be the first one. He,
Yeah, I was
he gonna
hoping
be the
that you
first.
was gonna cut that thing off and shove it down his throat. Hang him
She
Yeah,
wanted
upside
some.
down
She
and
wanted
poke
some
his.
pool stick up
Yeah,
the
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
butthole.
Poke his eyes out. Cut his fingers or burn. Like I
yeah.
wanted
He,
him
he he was a
tortured.
motherfucker, boy.
He
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 He,
was
he,
was.
he
he was the
was.
most disgusting character I've ever read in my life. And
Yes.
I said,
And you know what? I'm kind
This
of, I'm
man,
kind of flattered. I'm like flattered, and that's sometimes I'm kind of troubled by that. Like,
no, you should be flattered because he was. I said, oh, and I was like, this nigga nasty, man. Oh, I would have tortured him. I
yeah,
Yes.
mean, tortured him.
Bryce was like,
Ugh,
when you call him up, that's exactly what he was. Like every
yeah,
time he came up, I was like, this son of
this
a
nigga.
bitch. I
Yes,
was
god
like,
damn.
yeah.
damn,
But
get this boy
he
a
he,
break.
he bring out the worst in people, boy, because
He
he made
really
Omar
do.
change.
He had me over here like Ice Cube, stole about Debo. God damn, leave him alone.
Right. Like, golly. Like, can you do something with him? Now, you said that the book is about supernatural. Like, why did you select supernatural and what was the research like?
Well, I selected a super that because, like I said, I wanted to think outside the box. I want to do something
Right.
different. Like yeah, and like I said, the story's still urban fiction. It's still urban, but it just had
Mhm.
that subtle twist to it with the gun and the succubus. And I wanted to write it because I found it fascinating that you have these stories I hear that with the vampires and werewolves and but I've never really seen something set. I mean, one was Candyman. That was the first one I saw that was supernatural set in an urban environment in Chicago. Candyman, and that movie
Mm-hmm.
scared the shit out of me when I was young.
Yes, Lord.
And so that was like one of my main influence for writing that book was Candyman, and how he had that effect on his community as far
Yes.
as the urban legend that it came out to be true, And I don't know whoever did that shit, Candyman. I didn't do that shit. I don't- but I love that mystical effect, that fear he had on
Hmm.
and this Chicago, this Cabrini Green, this one of the roughest
Right.
hood in
Yes.
all of
Right.
America, and, and the way they shot that film was like wow. So when I was writing the gun, I wanted that same effect. I wanted that same
Right.
feel, and with Omar
And you got
but
it.
yeah. So with
Because I
Omar
wouldn't read
character,
it at night. I wouldn't
huh?
read it at night. I
You
could
what?
Yeah.
not
No,
read
we
it at night.
Wow.
we
We it,
look we
mm-mm.
I wouldn't read it at night, and then when I was like refreshing myself, I was like, I'm gonna listen to the audio, and I
Yep.
started listening to the audio, and I was like, 6 p.m. was my cutoff time. I was like,
Yo,
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna tell you,
Mine was
that dude
12
did a
in the
great
afternoon.
job. He did a great job with the audiobook. He did a good
yes,
job.
He
Ace
did.
Bentley,
He did a
yes.
Ace
good. I
Bentley.
listened to it, and I was like, "Yo, I can be like, this is my book. Wow, this
Yeah.
was
He did a
yo."
phenomenal
He
job.
really he embodied that story. I was like,
Hmm.
"Wow, shit, I'm about to go listen to it again tonight just because talking about it. Like, he embodied that shit, man." And
He
I think
definitely did.
what made it so great because the voice changes, the tone in his voice, the way I was like,
Hmm.
wow, and so yeah, but yeah, with gun, and then I started reading about I've been knew about like succubus, like the demon, the sexual demon, everything like that,
Right.
and really somebody, and I think somebody said this to me too. He's like, yo, he's like, Omar, he said, he said, yo, that nigga was motivated by pussy.
Hey, he wasn't getting
He's
us.
like,
He
he
wasn't
like,
getting us. So
yeah,
I mean,
he had me crack. He's like, yo, he's like, nigga, you had this nigga fucking what was she, a demon or something? But
A
he was
demon,
killing.
yes.
He's killing for that bitch, man.
yes.
But
Listen,
that's why I said it was like, something that is taking over your soul. That's why I said
Yeah,
man and woman too, because sometimes these men be taking over these women's souls and vice versa.
but and that's like a metaphor for
Yes,
sometimes you get and
right.
somebody when you in love with something you do anything for it and
Right.
that's
yeah.
Omar you got to think he was a virgin.
He was a
So
Yes.
virgin.
I would say he wasn't getting us. So when
Yeah.
she, succubus
and
latched on.
she put it on him. He was waking up like with a
Mhm.
whole erection, like, oh shit. Like, she was like, that
Like, what's
nigga was
going
like,
on here?
yo, who
Looking
you need me
forward
to
to the
kill?
daytime.
Yeah.
Listen. What Red Fox said, it's strong when it make a nigga switch God.
That is true. That is
Yeah, went
true.
from God to the devil.
Hmm.
Yeah, but the one thing that I said was because everybody, you gotta think about it. Everybody had their breaking point, and
Right.
the breaking point for Omar was Kizzy. That was his best
Hmm.
friend.
Mhm.
And what happened to and it's crazy because when I was writing that book and I got to that scene, I thought about it. I said, should I just skip through it and like play it and like you know what I said, like make say what they say, just tell about it, don't show it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I'm gonna show this scene. And that was a
Yeah,
hard
that was
scene to write
rough.
because when you're a writer, and I tell people when you're a writer, you gotta become these characters. You gotta become
Yes,
every one of these
yes,
characters. And you gotta I had to be Bryce, which is fucked up. I had to be Kizzy. I had to be Omar. I had to be the detective. I had to think like these individuals. And when I wrote that rape scene, I was like, and well, first of all, I did a lot of homework research on it. I was watching documentary and like how it got. I remember this one woman. She said when that happened to her, and it stuck with me. She said her body no longer belonged to her no more. She just let it go.
yeah.
And that was deep. I was like, wow. She said
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she could do it. So she just let it go and just took it, and she just blacked out. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then,
I love that you put that, you said that. And I also love the fact that, because that was one of my questions, why her? But, and you kind of answered it. But I also like the fact that she, prayed so much to get over this. And that's one of my questions. So I'm going to wait for that because, like, when I got to a little bit further in, I was like, I wonder if this book is about this. So I'll ask that question later.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you got, you know what's funny about that?
Hmm.
Omar was more upset than she was.
He really
Yeah,
was.
he really
He really
was.
was. He really
You
was.
know?
Because he's
And
saying that, this happened to you because of me.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it was
Yeah.
he
guilt.
felt
It was part of his guilt.
it
Yeah.
was like
That was
he
that
felt
gift.
like he blamed himself, and then plus
Hmm.
two, um, Omar was already actively going through this good
Right.
versus evil battle.
Yeah,
And so it's like he hadn't all the way converted because he was what he was doing evil, but it was for good, right?
Right.
So, but when you dance and you skirt along those lines and then something happen, it's like, okay, it's only your hair trigger way to make you go from one side to the other. And then
Right.
everything with Kizzy happened. And so then it's like he just was like, you know what? I don't care nothing about what this good church service be saying. I don't care what
Hmm.
you
yeah,
talking
he
about,
did. He just
you
turned off.
know.
He was
Yep.
like, man, fuck that, man.
Yeah, that's
And
what
you
I was
know,
gonna say. F that church. Yep, that's what he was saying.
yeah.
Hmm.
But you gotta think about it. His mom just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best friend got raped. He's
Hmm.
still
Hmm.
poor. He's still being bullied.
Exactly.
He
Yep.
like,
Exactly. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
I've been praying. I've been praying all my life, and I'm still going through this. What? And
Hmm.
so you got to imagine the mindset because you got to think when he picked up that gun, the first time he ever felt power was when he pulled
Power
it on
was,
Bryce,
yeah.
and that's the first time they see him as a threat. You know?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And sometimes I feel like that's what these young boys that's what they feel out there today. They feel like they want that control, that power. That's why you got these guns out here because they don't know nothing else, and it
Right.
feel like it gives them a sense of worth and self preservation, where they could. I know I could just take a life, and but really when a gun and it just goes to be because I like I said I've been like I had a best friend that was shot and killed right next to me 20 years ago,
Hmm.
Mm.
and
Mm.
I almost took a life.
Right.
Hmm.
He was shot and killed. I took up his gun. It was cocked, and I pistol whipped the nigga. I beat him, and I was going to pull. I was ready to shoot, but it's crazy because if I'd have done that, I wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something told me something. In my mind said, "No, don't do this." And it's crazy because when I went, something said, "Go see your friend. Go see your friend." So when I went to go see my friend, I know he was shot. I dropped the gun. The moment I dropped the gun, that's when the police came into the building, which is like this. If it would have been 3 seconds later, they'd have seen me with the pistol doing what I was doing, and no, God
Right.
knows how that would have turned out. And that's why I say
Yeah.
I know there's a spirit God out there because if they'd have came in sooner than 5 seconds earlier, they'd have caught me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said,
Mm.
wow. So writing that
Yeah.
character, I know that urge to want revenge and want to go out there and do something because you lose yourself in that violence.
And you
Mm-hmm.
know what? You answered my question because that was one of the things that we are going to ask is why did you pick a gun as the weapon of choice for this supernatural power? But like what you said explains that, like the whole mindset behind it and how you were in a situation where you had to make a split decision to
Yeah,
either, go good or evil, and you like it's not worth it. And had you
Right.
still been holding that, like you said, you might not have been here because we already know that was the easiest downfall for you to take right there.
yeah.
Right
Because they
there.
not
Yep.
they don't be looking out for us like that and trying to
They
find
had to go.
the
Mm-mm.
truth.
Nope.
They just see
Nope.
what they see and it's over.
And I had a Glock 17 in my hand. That's a pretty big gun to have. Glock
Yeah.
17. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
yeah.
then
Yes.
well, we kind of, since you talked about it a little bit. So I think, like I said, I got a little bit further in the book, and this when Kizzy was praying about just helping to get over what she just, what she went through. So
Yeah.
I came up with thinking, I was like, was your thinking for this book God versus man, or good versus evil, or even both? Because I felt like at some parts in the book it was like God versus man. Like you said, you putting your faith in God, and then
Well,
God ain't delivering what people say He do. But
yeah.
then you got somebody evil as hell, which is Anton, because even though Bryce was worse, I must keep on saying that Bryce was a dirty, disgusting, dingy, die
Dog.
easy MFer. But
Hmm.
Anton, to me, was worse because you set it up to have your cousin killed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. He did.
So that's what I was like. Is it the God versus man, the good versus evil, or was it both? Like, did you want to put
It's
all of
pretty.
that in the book?
It's pretty much both.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you look about it, because we didn't even mention the detective. He was more of a good character, more like
Yes.
because you remember him with him and what's his name, Bunk. Bunk was like,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
fuck these ghetto niggas, man. They let them kill
Yes.
each other. And Detective Green was like, I don't care if he's Hitler. I'm gonna investigate his death. A murder is
Right.
Yes.
murder no matter who got killed.
Who got
And
killed?
he represented that quality of man that's saying, I'm gonna be fair no matter who he is. So
Right.
because they think about when they saw Bryce body, Bunk was like, "Hey, about time nigga got shot." Like shit, and this is
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
detective.
I was with Bunk. Listen,
I was
your
like,
book
that's
made me
all.
sit up here and be like, let me question my Christianity because he go to police officer being all. I was like, and
Mm-hmm.
I was over here with Bunk like that
But
nigga
you
did at
know,
the end of the book.
but that's how they be. That's how they
Yeah.
be.
Mhm.
But
That's true.
yeah, and that's how they be. So, but you had they had that contract. He was like, no, he was like, man, listen, man, let them kill each other. And it was anyway.
Right.
And Chuck was like, nah,
Mhm.
man. And even though it was cool, it was like the devil and the angel on shoulder, like you know what I'm saying, like.
Mm-hmm.
And so though his character represented the quality that there's still hope out there, and he had to question him.
Yeah.
And think about it, the shit he was seeing, he was had a question. He had to go to church like and talk to his
Right.
pastor, like yo, I'm seeing things like because that book. And come think about it, that book show really it shows a lot of horrid, evil things like in
Yeah.
Yes.
Brownsville. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Yeah. That one piece of metal held
Yeah,
so much power that it
Mhm.
had somebody that was like, yeah, because when Anton was like, when Bunt was like, oh well, you the one who set your own cousin up. And he was like, well, because I've been out here since I was 16 years old, and this nigga come and he
Yeah.
get on top of the world. He had to go. I want the piece. He's like, I want that gun. So it's like, that's all, you shooting. Now, another thing, let me go back a little bit because I noticed every time he killed somebody, it kind of blew a hole in the face. Was that a metaphor for something? Because I was like, I'm just the type of
Mhm.
reader that when I see things constantly happening, I'm like, is it a reason why it's happening?
but he did what? Hole in the face?
Yes.
Man, I'm trying to remember. They put a hole in the face. I'm trying to remember because I know with the gun when it came to the medical term, because when it came to the medical examiner, they was bad because like there's no space. They can't find no cases because
Right.
there was none, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to think. That got me stumped. I'm trying to think
Listen, and I'm sitting here, and this is how you knew Omar was naive. Now, how you get a gun off the street? You ain't had to reload this yet. You ain't had to go buy no bullets. Like
yeah,
it's like, sir, you just
Yeah.
the gun just gonna keep going off. It's gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
going
yeah.
off. You ain't got no ammunition.
It was designed by the devil. You know,
Hmm.
that's what the purpose. Because you got to think
Mm-hmm.
about it. In the beginning of the story, when they came for Shore Black, they couldn't find a gun.
Exactly.
It wasn't meant for the hands. And that's the scary
Hmm.
part. Like they couldn't find his weapon because it had already um spotted it, know what his next victim was going to be. You know.
Hmm.
It's that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's why I was like the God versus man piece because not, and I can't even really say that, but it's like those two people were they that much alike that, like you're saying, it wasn't found. We like I don't know how many months or was it a year, but then all of a sudden, this person
Hmm.
who is struggling in their faith in life, they find it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it seemed like Sean Black and Omar were the same, so in a sense, because we really didn't get to know Sean at first, but so
Mm-hmm.
I guess we said, look, let's ask you, were they the same? And why did the gun select them?
Well, if you remember what Anton said about his cousin, well, how he was
Yeah.
jealous, he said, and if I recall, his cousin was a nobody, became the Booker, and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
he seen him collect that gun, and because Anton wanted the gun, that's why
Right.
he was
Mm-hmm.
going after. That's why he had Bunk on his payroll, and he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
find that gun because he knew something was special with that weapon,
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and because he said, I see my cousin built an empire with his gun. I
Mm-hmm.
want. I think for him it was he symbolized it as something like it was like a token for him, and because he did kill his cousin behind it, set him up,
Right.
and because you had a lot of because you had Antoine, you had was it science, what's it science,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
science,
Science.
Science.
Yeah. Oh.
the pimp was it the pimp nigga? No science. Wait, because I'm sorry, I'm confused
The
now
pop
because
was bad too. Antoine, Bryce. Like I said, I can't look. I can't look at nobody else bad but Bryce. Like, ugh. And I'm gonna say Bryce, and then his little hoodlums that was with him because y'all ain't had to do that. Like y'all
yeah,
just did
Yeah.
everything he told you to do, and y'all like that. That's just like
and
y'all a
he
bunch of
he
bitches
he hunted them down one by one.
by one,
Yes,
and
he
I loved it.
did.
And the
I
thing
loved
about
it.
it is, Detective Green tried to warn the last one, like, listen, he showed them the pictures. Dude,
Yep.
somebody's coming after you. But you so ignorant and so stupid that you like,
Yep.
I'm not snitching. And he said, somebody, and he's like, nah. And then what happened? Caught him in that strip club.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, bang.
He deserved it.
And he
You know what I'm
I
deserved
saying?
still feel
it.
like they got off easy, but okay.
And then, yeah.
They got
And Omar wasn't playing, and then you got to think about it. It was two killers in there. 'Cause Omar, and it was a killer that worked for Antoine. Was Antoine's son?
hmm.
Right.
Um, the one that shot that little girl.
Yeah.
That was
You
so
know,
sad.
yeah.
But
But see,
I love that hood aspect of this story because that happens in the hood. Like
yeah,
everything you put in here happens in the hood. And like I said, we got we got some hood stuff. We got some church stuff because I loved how like Kizzy and her mom was always praying for him. The pastor was there, but
yeah,
it's just like one thing I can say that I've learned. It does not matter if you are brought up in the church, you know the Bible back and forth. If you don't have faith,
Yeah.
yeah,
of course you're
It's
gonna
for
see
not.
things differently. It's you have
yeah,
to have the faith. It doesn't matter. Like eventually you will get it. But you
Hmm.
know, Like literally, I tell people all the time now, I have to watch what I say and how I say
Yeah,
things because, and
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's something that I learned with me moving from one section, like moving from the DMV and then going to Georgia. I see things different. I grew up, and I got back into the church. But like I tell people all the time, I also kind of be careful of words I say and what I say. And it's so funny because my friends was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm telling you, one day I was sitting at work and it was just like a crazy day. And it was like lunchtime. And I was like, dang, all I want is 5 minutes of quiet. That's it. 5 minutes. Do you know 2 minutes later, this man walked through the door and was like, I have the worst headache. I got vertigo. I just need to sit down somewhere. My friend looked over at me. I said, thank you, Jesus. Literally. And she was like, that's crazy. And so the guy came, like our manager came up and he was like, what's going on? And she was like, Crystal, just ask for it. And this man just walked through the door. So we let him get his quiet. But it's just like, I just feel like Omar didn't have it yet. He didn't, you
yeah,
have to hit a certain part in your life before you can really believe and put your faith in God to take you where you're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
love how you showed that.
and it's different because Omar was young. Like his what Omar was
Yes.
20. But
Yeah.
you gotta think about everything he saw was like he saw his mom saying it, he's heard what the pastor
Mm-hmm.
was saying, he was going to church, but they were still broke. His
They were still,
mama
yup,
was sick, she died, Kizzy went through what
got
she went through.
attacked.
Like he
Yeah.
just, he kept getting attacked by Bryce and his little millions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he wasn't able to build. He's like he couldn't build faith because he didn't see anything that gave him hope. You know.
But see, I thought when because when he gave the rundown of Kizzy, like she had to deal with a mother who didn't want her, parents being
Yeah.
around not
you
raising
gotta
her.
think, and she was sick too. She
She
had
was sick,
Yeah.
like she had lupus, and he was
yeah,
like at one
Yeah.
point in time
But
she
she.
couldn't walk, but she still had faith. So I'm thinking that's your best friend. That's
Yeah.
somebody that you just
But
seen to go through so much stuff, and she still had faith.
but you gotta
you
think.
know.
But I said it. Kizzy wasn't going through what he was going through with Bryce.
Right, that is true.
Yeah.
He wasn't
And
And
going
plus
through.
and
too,
then too, it
that
was a
was
man. It was a
plus
man
that's what
too.
I was
Yeah,
about to say. Bright. I mean, Omar was a man, and then too, that was Kizzy's experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
because regardless
right.
of how close we are to somebody, it's
It's
still
got to be
their
your experience.
experience. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So it's
Mhm.
like sometimes, but because when he was going about when he actually talked about, you know, why he wasn't going back to church, he never reflected on what Kizzy went through or what his
Right.
mom went through. It was always from his perspective of what
But
he only saw,
mhm.
what he was going through, and why he didn't, so why he didn't have no faith. But you know, whoo, Lord, this book was deep on so many levels. So
It was so many levels. Yes.
I wanna ask you. So this is I think you already answered this question though, because I feel like I already know who it's gonna be. But which character resonated the most with you?
make sure. Uh, that's a hard question. 'Cause I'm so laid back and reserved and chill, like, and and all my characters in it was like one of the person I said was laid back was the detective.
He
Real
was.
talk. Because everybody they were going 0 to 100 real quick. Like they was just like the only person that was laid back and chill was the detective, Kizzy, the grandma,
Mhm.
and the pastor. Because everybody else was just like psychopath. It was like
Yeah.
Yogi. So
I feel,
I gotta say the detective because I feel like I'm
mhm.
one of them dudes that you see things, you question it, and then you got to realize like what's happening with the world, what's happening with the community, and sometimes you got to sit back and take a deep breath and realize like man, and because you got to think about it too. He didn't want to have any kids.
Mhm.
Remember that? Remember he had a deep talk with his
Yeah.
pastor,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sure
and
did because
he's
he
like,
had
I
been
don't want to.
divorced like 3 years, and his
Yeah,
wife
because
left because she didn't want no
Mhm.
kids.
he didn't want to
Yeah.
bring no kids into this world. He's like, I don't, because he's a cop. He see when
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
was saying it scared. It was like I'm not saying it scared the shit out of him, but it had him question things like, what if that was your son or your daughter? You see
Daughter.
someone
Right.
and so a lot of stuff he saw was like it fucked with his marriage. It fucked with
Mhm.
his That's the way what he wanted in life. So because
Exactly.
he was saying he was like when that phone go off, he like yo partner, we got another. You gonna only imagine being a detective like that. Yo, you got a crime scene, and this is Brooklyn. If you know anything about Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
Brownsville, it's just like that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
people think, did you embellish certain things? I said, well, yeah, with the supernatural thing, but Brownsville has some. I don't know. I mean, I remember one time I was in Brownsville and this mother of four got shot in the head picking up her kids.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This
Wow.
happened 2011. 2011. She was going to pick up a kid from school. I think she had 4 or 5 kids, and she got
Mm.
shot in the head. And I remember seeing her body sprawled out on the concrete against the wall, and they had it covered up. And I'm like, God, it's like just like that. Just going to get your kids shot
Yeah.
dead.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I think she had 4 kids, and I remember that shit. I was
Dang.
like, yeah. So the crimes that you read in that book are actually happening still to this day. Are happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just embellished it with the supernatural thing and gave the characters a background story. But you got young girls out there being raped.
Yeah.
You got you got mothers out there that are just tricking it up. You got gangs out there. You got the drugs. You got the pimps. You got shit. Who was the pimp? I think it was Science, the pimp on book. We said, "Oh,
Yeah.
upstairs, that's a good pussy. Down here, it's the upstairs, the
Oh
back."
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And some
Cause he
women
said,
down here know their worth.
"No, they work."
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
these the ones that
Mm-hmm.
get the clientele, the
Right.
politicians. So
That's
yeah,
so
so
true.
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
lot of it was a lot of stuff that dropped in that book because he was like, "Wow, man, wow."
It was, but like you said, it was one of those. You can tell, like you said, you're a thought-provoking person. You somebody
Yeah,
that see things and you want to think about and you want to answer. So, like I said, as I read more, is that ooh, like I feel like this is God versus man, and then good versus evil, and then dealing with the church, and then dealing with things inside yourself. So you had like Untamed said, you didn't drop some serious bombs that make you think in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
Yeah.
yeah, and then you had that hood shit.
yeah,
Woo.
Yes, you had to,
Yeah.
cause man, like, and I love, and I'll tell the listeners who haven't read the book yet, like it's very visual. So
Very.
let me put this trigger warning out here for y'all, cause everything that we're talking about is like times 10 in the book. Cause Eric is very graphic when he writes.
Yes.
He's very descriptive. So you see it like a movie, but he's also a screenwriter, so that's another reason that
yeah,
you
That's
see it
true.
like a movie.
yeah. I get that.
Um,
I got that because I had people say because somebody said, "What the fuck? What you thinking about those things, nigga?" Like he was like, "Yo."
I
I
was
was
saying
giving
that.
nightmares, nigga, because he was like, I was like, what? But I mean, I
right.
respect that,
Like how
huh?
we didn't listen to it at night.
Yeah,
That's
at
why.
night I did not, and I listened to audiobooks every night to go to bed. So when I was listening to it, I was like, when the first time I listened to it, I was listening to this stuff and going to sleep. I'm having all types of nightmares. No, mm-mm. Early in the morning when I'm on my getting ready for work, or like when I went out, I listened to it. But it's one of those reads and that you listen to, or I listen that you can't stop. Like it just keep on going. You know how like, oh, I'm a pause here. Nah, you can't do that because now I got to see what's about to happen next. Now,
Yeah,
so it's like it's
Hmm.
things
yeah.
like that.
And I try, like I said, I try to give it that balance because
Right.
with kids being a detective, because that rational thinking, because those two characters really the rational things in the story, like that had
Hmm.
patience and had faith and what really wanted to see good happen and wanted to make a change. But unfortunately, when you have such an environment that's just polluted with such toxicity and filth and negativity, it's like you're going against the grain. It's like, and unfortunately, I don't want to spoil the ending for nobody, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know what happened. And because somebody asked me, because they were like, "Yo, why'd you do that?" And I like sometimes there's no answer to it because it just left open because he was like because with detective he met a fourth at the end that he couldn't remember. He was watching him. The guy
Yeah.
with the test
Mhm.
coat.
Mm-hmm.
He's watching. He's like, and he's like, and he just threw him, of course. Like, so it's going like the next installment is going to be get real deeper and darker to other things. Yeah,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
oh.
Mm-hmm. So what's the takeaway for the readers for this book that you would like for them to, when they read it, what do you want them to take away from it?
Well, my takeaway one or two is I wanted to show the readers a world that you got to be mindful of and careful of because
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'm saying 'cause I know a lot of people they're not familiar with that world. They don't know Brooklyn. They don't know the Brownsville. They don't know and thank God you don't know no Bryce out there, no Anton out there. So it's kind of like I wanted to be like the Wire. When Wire came out, it opened the world. They were like, yo, I didn't know this is Baltimore. So I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
show where. Also, I wanted to show, like I said, that that when it comes to faith, like you said, with detective, it's just like sometimes it's when you try to question things, you
Mhm.
can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta. It just
Mm-hmm.
there's no. Well, why do people you don't know why people just fucked up. Things just fucked up in the
Yeah.
world. That's how it is. And I'm not saying we can't change it. We can, but
Mm-hmm.
it starts like I feel like detective was a start. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
even though there's so much chaos going around, there's always somebody in that world that's still gonna bring faith and hope and
Yeah.
positivity. And that was Kizzy, and that was the detective. That was the praying
Mm-hmm.
grandma. That was the pastor. Even though I'm not gonna say what happened to him, but that was him. They were still fighting this battle. So to me, it's like you gotta keep fighting. It's gonna be hard. But you got to keep because the way things
Mhm.
going now is like sometimes you feel like it ain't gonna get no better. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh,
Yeah. You're right.
you know.
And you know what? You right about introducing, like you said, people sometimes don't see the worlds or they get removed from an environment and they don't understand like how bad it really is, which is part of the
right.
reason
Yeah,
what's wrong with the world today.
uh,
And so it's like a introduction to it. It's like, is that really going on? Yeah, that's really going on.
yeah.
I ain't gonna even tell you a lie.
Let me.
I had my own story about that yesterday. The other
Yeah,
day, I'm like, I always we pick what me and my husband pick with our kids, and we're like, y'all grew up two-parent household. Your parents is here together. They there for you, do everything. Y'all grew up it's suburban kids. We tell you like y'all suburban kids. Y'all know nothing about the hood. Stay out of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
because
Mhm.
it's funny you said it because where I stay at, I live in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm in a city with so much entitlement. Like, yo, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I go out my front door. I just see things like people just they so living in a life of luxury and safe and safeguards and stuff. And then I watch a lot of documentaries, and I say people like judge other people. They're like, well, why? First of all, I was watching a documentary about Africa about the pirates out there that's going there. And that's
Mm-hmm.
you know why they doing that? Why they go raise them shit? Because you got like the oil companies that's going into the communities and plundering their community with the oil and making the environment toxic, where they can no longer fish, feed themselves, whatever.
Yeah.
So the backlash is, if you take it from me and I can't produce for my family, I'm gonna get on a boat, get a Tech 9 machine gun, and I'm gonna take from you. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as if you a typical America, you see them like, why they are bad people. They're pirates. There's always a cause and effect for something. Always a
Exactly.
cause and effect. So people like to judge people because they're like, why would they take go on a ship and rob people and steal the oil and do this? Because oil companies go into these towns and these cultures and just they polluting the water. They they
Mm.
they destroying that the economy. They like what you call it, capital flight. They go in there,
Right.
Yeah.
they're taking the gold, they're taking the silver, they're taking the resources, but they're not giving back to the people that they're taking it from. And they living
Mhm.
in severe poverty day after day.
Yeah.
But then they're taking the resources to make another culture life better. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine somebody coming into your home every day, taking shit out your home and you can't barely pay your bills, and your walls is crumbling, and your everything's fucked up in your home, but you got a group of men coming in and taking out. How you gonna react? And they just
Mm-hmm.
take it,
Exactly.
but they're not giving back or contributing to anything into your to help you or benefit you. So that's what's going on in a lot of these countries and a lot of these worlds today. You got a lot of these companies, corporations, and organizations just taking, killing, and people get fed up, and then they want to say, "Oh, they the bad guy," you know. Even
Exactly.
though even though Bryce was a fucked up nigga, but
Listen.
you got to think about it. What's his backstory?
That you know what? To be honest, even though he was the disgusting man, it's like I want to know what his backstory was.
Yeah,
You know
think
what I'm
about
And
it.
we
saying?
and
Like,
and we got a little bit of his backstory because we know like
yeah,
his parents didn't care for him, and he stuff happened to him. You know what I'm
happened to him.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stuff happened to him, and so and like they say, hurt people.
her people.
You
Yeah.
yeah,
know, and it's like he checked out and just became a monster. He became
yeah,
his doing. You know, so it's like even though we hate Bryce is a consequence and a condition of his environment.
mhm,
That is true. That is so true.
So it's like
So
you
true.
gotta you gotta change that so that you won't create this.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
man, yeah, like I said, a lot of deep points, a lot of thinking points,
Let me tell you,
and that is,
it's it's
that was good.
it's more coming. It's more coming because I got Solomon Dark coming next month.
So now we can, okay. I want you to tell everybody, like what you got coming up, book wise, and if you have any events coming up, let us know
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
did want
I
to give
got.
you some
Well,
time to talk about Solomon Dark because that book right there.
I got. Well, I got a few books on. I'm setting up in Charlotte and Atlanta. For and I'm trying to. I want to say I'm trying to set up for Solomon Dark drops, but next month I'll be in Atlanta and I'll be in Charlotte in August. I'm working on two movies coming out. My first film we working on is in September. It's called Lady Boss. Um, it got what's the name? It got Sophia the Body. Sophia the Body. That's her name from Love and Hip Hop. She's in it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Sophia the
called Lady
body.
Boss. And then
Mhm.
October, I got another movie working on shooting in New Jersey. So, Lady Boss was shooting in Harlem. That's what Sophia the Body. October, we're shooting Sweetness, and we just signed Cardi B to play the
Woo!
main role. Yeah,
Yes.
Congratulations. Yeah.
yeah.
Congratulations, Eric. Congratulations. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I had the pleasure of working with we shouted out with Eric on No Better Love. So
Yeah, that was fun. That's another film, Bill. I like telling stories. I like telling profound stories that's gonna make you think, make you say, "Wow," with no better love. The end, people like, "Why did you?" And it just goes to show, sometimes it might not come back on you personally, but it'll come back on somebody you love the worst.
Right.
What
exactly.
happened with
Right.
Gigi was sad. And Gigi was cool. Gigi was trying to
Yeah,
get her life
Gigi
together.
was cool.
He was trying to,
Y'all.
she loved him some what's her name? Solid thing, you know.
Yes.
But I like telling stories. I don't know. Cause I see a world that I'd be like, man, that I just want to.
Yes. Tell us a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about Solomon Dark.
All right, so and somebody said, hey, where you come up with these stories from? I said, I don't know. It just did come.
They just come.
Solomon Dog is about a slave named Solomon in 1850 South Carolina on a plantation. He's married to Irene, and he loved the woman. He loved Irene, and Irene is he's a powerful man, but at the same time he feels small because he's a slave, and he feel like he can't protect his woman because a slave has no rights, has
Right.
no say so. So Solomon, the premise about Solomon is about a slave that becomes a vampire, and
Oh,
yeah, he's a slave
Yeah.
and he becomes a vampire. And what happened
oh
is,
my gosh.
yeah, so Solomon, I'm not going to get too much of the story away.
Yeah.
Solomon it's a vampire novel, but it's a love story too. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's a love story too because it's about a slave that will do anything for a woman, and to the point
Mm-hmm.
he's ready to go north, and she don't want to leave the plantation because her family's there, or that's what she know. But Solomon like, I cannot be a man here. I cannot protect you here. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that argument back and forth because he want to go and she just so afraid that she's going to lose him. Eventually, they lose each other anyway,
Right.
you know, because something
Mm-hmm.
happened. And Solomon, being the man he is, he ain't no joke, and he runs off. And there's a character named Akasha. Akasha is an ancient slave from Africa. He was brought over by a transatlantic slave, and in the beginning of the story, he transforms to a vampire, and he breaks free of his chains and frees everybody else, and they take over the ship and kill all the white folks on the ship, and it burns down.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Akasha appears later on in the story because you think he perished, but 100 years later he reappears. Now Akasha, his mindset is America took a lot away from me when it took me from it. In Africa, I was a father, I was a husband, I was a scholar, I was a man, I was a person. You 100 years later, then you took that, you took everything from me. So he wants to burn the country down. He hates America. He wants to fucking, and he wants to do a slave of vampires. It's like what if Nat Turner was a bunch of vampires going to plantation to plantation.
Right.
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 Right. Listen, I'm telling
So
you,
that's how we go. And then I got Bronco that I was done with. That's another story. See, what I'm trying to see, what I'm trying, my vision, my thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create African American characters with supernatural abilities set in period pieces. Like Solomon Dog is 1800s.
Right.
Bronco is in the 1950s and 40s. Like Zion is a werewolf story take place with an ancient werewolf tribe from Africa that goes to war with the Italian mafia in 1960 in Harlem. Yeah.
this one.
So
See, at the beginning of this, I said Eric's mind and his ability to story tell is
Yes.
otherworldly. Okay,
yeah,
when I had to preference this with that because I knew this part was coming.
yeah.
Yes.
And when I tell people, they be like, "What?" And because especially because it's like with Bronco. Bronco is like a y'all familiar with Luke Cage? He's like a
Yes.
Luke
I
Cage.
love Luke
He
Cage. Yes.
so I was like, because when I'm watching the show, I'm like, imagine a Luke Cage character, Superman type of a black man like that, goes back in the 1800s or South, fighting the Klan. Like we be fucking shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But but but
Exactly.
but it's just Marco is another love story behind that, where he's a World War II veteran suffering PTSD, and
Right.
he's okay, but he's able to see that he sees lost black souls, and
Hmm.
Blanco's like a mercenary for unjust lost souls that like someone like Emmett Till that haven't received justice. He would go to Bronco he would haunt Bronco because like I need your help. And Bronco will try
Hmm.
to he like a mercenary because he has these abilities, and he'll go and investigate. So with this case, it's not Emmett Till, but a little girl, a young girl and her family are killed because they're trying to take away their farmland
Right.
for urban or for urban renewal,
Hmm.
and they killed the whole
Mm.
family, and they kind of covered it up. So she starts haunting him as help me. And he had no choice
Hmm.
but to leave Harlem because he's a gangster. He's a war veteran and he's a gangster. And he comes from era of Bumpy Johnson and all these other. He's a gangster, but he starts to change because I got his character arc is he's a loner. He's a gangster. He's a violent man. He's a murderer. So
Ooh.
he goes to Mississippi to investigate, and he meets a young woman. And him being a selfish man, he kind of see what love is about. But and what he's trying to find his purpose when he starts becoming a detective for these lost souls to find justice for them. And he,
Hmm.
he's Luke Cage. You can't shoot him yet. He's like, dude,
Can't kill me.
He
Can't
You know what I'm saying? But
invincible,
but
invincible.
it's crazy because even though you can't kill him, he's still vulnerable in a type of way. I'm not gonna tell you how.
right.
He's still vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, oh
so
my God, we are so excited about all the things that you have coming
Yeah.
up, Eric. I cannot wait till Solomon Dark drops. Can't wait till Bronco drops. Can't wait
one
till
more
the movie
month, one more
drops.
month.
So
July 23rd. Yeah, July 23rd. Yeah,
July
one more month.
23rd. So y'all gonna see that announcement roll around on our July releases when we do that episode for all of the
Yeah.
books that are releasing in July that we know of. So
Yeah.
if you have a book, let us know. But let everyone know how, if they're not following you, how they can follow you and where they can purchase guns.
Okay. First of all, gun is on. It's in the it's on Amazon.com. You can purchase it on Amazon. It's in a few bookstores, but if you Amazon, and you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is egray28, egray 28. My Facebook profile is Arthur Eric S. Gray, Erick S. Gray, Arthur Eric S. Gray. And then my Twitter is Eric Spencer. And
Okay.
yeah, gun in your local bookstore. You can order it for Amazon.com. You can order for good. It's on Goodreads. Goodreads. It's on. I think it's on Walmart website. It's on the Target website. So
Hmm.
pretty much you go on any website like Target, Walmart, Amazon, and you can order it on there. Also, you get it online. You get it on audiobooks, which I do recommend audiobooks too, because that dude did
And
a
you have to
phenomenal
listen to
job
them
with that
not at night.
story.
You can't listen to them at night. At home.
So yeah, yeah,
Ace Bentley bodied that. He really
yeah,
did.
8:30, yeah,
He did a phenomenal job.
yeah.
He
Phenomenal.
did. He did. He is
So
one of the he's not new. I know he's been on, done some before, but this year, like what's going on as audiobooks become popular, a lot of books are now getting listened to. So we're starting to hear, they're like new to us, I should say.
yeah,
Right.
So he's one of the ones who I
He's
know that
new
he's
to
been around
me.
a while, but he's new to me. I've heard him on a couple of books here lately, and I'm just like, yeah, he does the thing.
Yes, he
Like
does.
he makes you
Yeah.
interested in listening to these books. So and June is it's audiobook month. So we have been really like bigging up our narrators this month. So yeah, big up the audiobook. Ace Bentley does a great job on that. So shout out to Ace. But Eric has been a great time talking to you, getting to know more about you and getting to know more about your works. Like I said, your mind is, you are just a wealth of stories, and I love
Yes.
it. I love when we have conversations. So this was such a great time having you on, letting you share. So we thank you so much for coming.
and I thank you
And
for having me.
so
Thank you.
yeah, so we got to do this again after Solomon Dark comes out. So
Definitely, that's another hour. That's about 2 hour conversation.
right.
Yeah, yeah, believe me.
Look, another think piece. We're gonna have us another think piece on this
Yeah,
one
so
Yeah,
too.
now I got to
So
get into it so I can get my questions ready because
all right.
you had me thinking. You had me thinking.
That's what I want.
exactly. Exactly. Well, Crystal, let everyone know where they can follow you.
Okay, so on Instagram, I am Books and Soul One, and then on TikTok and Facebook, I'm just Books and Soul. That's it. I don't be
Okay.
having time. I'm trying to get there to
You don't
start
have
posting
time.
again. I don't have time. I don't have
Yeah,
time.
I feel you on that. Well, y'all know
Hmm.
what? I am Arthur Untamed on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can follow me there. And please make sure that you're following the podcast on Instagram at Get Caught Up Podcast, also on YouTube and also on TikTok. And we do have a Facebook group, which is the Get Caught Up Author Podcast group. You can join it if you're over there on Facebook. And also make sure that you are following or subscribing to our actual podcast. And it is the Get Caught Up podcast. We are on Audible, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple's iTunes. We are. I feel like I'm missing one on Spotify. I always leave on Spotify. I'm like, Lord, it is Spotify. So, and we're also on Spotify. So, yes, subscribe there
Hmm.
or follow on any of those platforms. And of course, if you are an author or narrator who's interested in joining us here on the podcast, now I ain't gonna lie, we booked for the year. But if you want to go ahead, like seriously, we booked solid for the whole year. So
That's
if you
so
want to
crazy.
see, it's amazing. I appreciate you guys because
I
like
appreciate you guys
podcasting
so
is
much.
very fun. Every time we open up submissions, it closes like in a day or two. But if you want to get your stuff in early for 2025, um, go ahead and submit. You can go to the website at www.getcaughtupodcast.card.co. That's CARRD.co. And we also have merch like this. Like I said, it is audio. If you want to say narrator, I'm gonna just say narrator of the month. But it is audiobook month, and so this is our narrator of the month last year, Jacoby. So we got merch like Jacoby in June, and Tree Taylor, and some other narrators that we have, and some GCU merch. So also, if you would like to become a sponsor, just visit anchor.fm/get caught up. Or you can always just donate to the Cash App at $ UP2016. That's $ U as an umbrella, P as in Paul, 2016. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, thank you,
Yes.
Eric, for your
Thank you. Thank
time
you.
and coming on. And we're gonna do this again after Solomon Dart releases. So we gotta get our look like Christian said, we gotta get our thoughts and stuff together.
Hmm.
So yes, thank you guys over on YouTube and on IG who were listening and tuned in. Frank H. Carter, the third scene, was highly active. We thank you for all your comments that you was making
Yes.
and doing the Instagram live part of the conversation. Thank you for all of y'all who look that y'all who just joined. That's okay. It'll be posted on YouTube, but also on our audio podcast by this Friday. So y'all get to jump back in and listen to everything. But until next time, you guys, don't forget to get caught up. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.
All right. Good night, y'all.